All right. Welcome back, everyone. If you're new here, one of the things I try to do is deliver as much value as possible in the shortest amount of time possible. I want to respect your time, so I thank you for being here. Today, I was doing some thinking on a job of mine from when I was about 18, 19 years old, and I learned some serious lessons back then, lessons that are still true to this day in the adult world, in the corporate world. Before I get into it, those lessons are: number one, never limit yourself, right? Number two, careful how hard you work, right? You don't always get what's promised, or get what you deserve if you're a super hard worker. And number three, document everything. And I have a feeling that this is going to resonate with a lot of you. So let's jump right into it. No more small talk. Today, I was at my jiu-jitsu gym. I had the day off from work, and it's in an industrial complex. I got there early. I usually don't, but I had about 20 minutes to kill, so I went for a little walk around. Used to work that 18-year-old job, that I had that I'm talking about was in that complex. So I walked by that old storefront, and it was vacant still. And actually, some of the signage was up from that company that used to be there. It was a little bit nostalgic, though. Nostalgia is for good things, and some of the things I'm going to talk about here are not so good. But anyways, I was doing some thinking after that, and I thought about a lot of these stories that I have here about not limiting yourself, being careful how hard you work, and then documentation. So a little background: I was a freshman in college. I needed a summer job. I came home for the summer, and I was working out at this gym. This company I'm talking about was like a regular fitness gym, like lifting weights. And I said, yeah, whatever, I'll fill out an application. And eventually I got hired. It was kind of a shaky hiring process. The managers changed in the middle of the hiring. My first day, though, I showed up, thought everything was good, and there was a mass exodus of employees that first day. And the reason why was because the gym I was originally going to was about a $30 a month gym. And then it became, on my first day, a $10 a month gym. It got bought out, and the employees weren't happy with that. And the new corporate people for this new franchise that came in said, take that hat off, put this name tag on. And there was also a huge discrepancy in the pay. I think the $30 a month company was a $12 an hour pay rate with commissions for every member you signed up. Well, this new one was only $8 an hour, flat. That was it. And I didn't really care. I was kind of desperate for a job. I was only going to be there for a little while. But I did see people walk out of the door. They said, I'll go work somewhere else, right? So that happened, and the new manager was young. He was the one that actually hired me. And I was very impressed by this guy. He was very sharp. He was very endearing, and he did a great job. And I said to him, where did you go to college? Like, what do you have a degree in? Where'd you get your degree? And he was like, I didn't go to college. I don't have it. What are you talking about? Like he kind of felt uneasy by me assuming that he was this big time credentialed, like Ivy League person because he was a gym manager. Now, I'm not putting gym managers down, but I was putting him on the pedestal with like regional directors of Google, right? And I didn't know any better. And I didn't know any better because of life experience, but I didn't necessarily, I don't want to say value myself, but I limited myself. In my head, I assumed that I was only good enough for a minimum wage job, and that me, a 19-year-old with only a couple college credits, there's no way someone like me, 19 with no degree, could be a manager. Well, he was my age and we became great friends. He was the manager. So that's lesson number one. Don't limit yourself. If you're going through your day in the corporate world and you hear one of the partners of the law firms coming through, everyone have their A game, and how do you become the boss? Well, those people that got there clearly didn't limit themselves. And if that's something you want promotions and you want to move up in the world, you're going to have to step up to the plate. But you're not going to get it by doubting yourself. So there's lesson number one. Lesson number two was careful how hard you work. All right, we all work hard. You out there right now, this is resonating with you. You're a hard worker. You're working your corporate job, maybe a little side hustle too, and maybe you're a little upset that it's not, your hard work isn't being mirrored in your day-to-day life. You feel like you deserve more in life. Maybe that's why you're watching this video and not this channel. But back to the point is, you got to be careful how hard you work, right? You work hard in the corporate setting and you expect to get a promotion, and sometimes you get bypassed. Well, Here at this job, I was a yes man for everything, okay? I was a yes man for cleaning toilets, showers, gym equipment, work that was not glorious whatsoever. And mind you, I'm making $8 an hour and I'm walking there. I also volunteered to do the opening job, Monday through Friday, starting at 5 a.m. I would walk, I'd wake up at my house at 3:45, I'd walk there, get there at 4:30, clean the gym, open it up at 5. I took all kinds of additional shifts. There wasn't a duty I wouldn't do without reason. At times you had to call a plumber or whatnot. I became the yes man, and I was applauded by that manager who became a friend of mine. And that felt good because he was a great guy and he treated me well. So I wanted to work hard for him, and he worked hard for me. Well, as time went on, I decided to take a semester off, and I needed this job through the fall until I figured out what I was going to do. But I continued to work hard. I've always been a hard worker, right? And many of you out there, like I said, you're hard workers. Me, if I run a mile in 8 minutes, I want to do it next time in 7:50. I'm very competitive with myself. I take pride in myself, and my work is a reflection of that, all right? So there wasn't something really I wouldn't do. And there were lazy employees with me, and I'd pick up the slack. Well, once I knew I wasn't in school anymore, an assistant manager job position came up. And like I said, I'm not going to school and I'm thinking long term. Why don't I try to jump on that job? I got my buddy as the manager, been here a little while, and I worked very hard. Corporate's definitely going to approve this, right? Well, I inquired about it and I got shut down faster than you could ever believe. And someone else within the gym on the roster, he got selected. This guy wasn't nearly as hardworking as me. He wasn't as charismatic. He was very rude to people at times in a passive-aggressive way. We all know those type. And a couple of times, he would wait till there was a crowd of people, and that smidgen of power he had, that little smidgen of authority. I'd come back from doing something, and I'd go get a sip of water and whatnot, talk, say hello to whoever's at the front desk, and he'd go, "Hey, bathrooms, go clean the bathrooms," and kind of send me on my way or send someone else on their way. And he would do it publicly in front of people because that made him feel good. And, looking back, you pity people like that, but that's who got the promotion over me. I cleaned toilets. I cleaned showers. I cleaned out lockers. I did opening shifts. I was awake at 3:45 in the morning, walking, snow, rain, beating sun, to this place for $8 an hour. And I got bypassed, right? So, in the corporate world, sometimes you become a yes man or a yes lady, right? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I'll fly to Chicago, Houston, LA. I'll take on more projects. I'll deal with more clients. The consulting positions. Yes, I'll take that on. Don't worry. And you're not getting anything extra for it. Oh, yes, I'm supposed to leave at 5, but I'll stay till 6:30, right? You acquiesce, and the line in the sand of, what you're being paid to do is moving, right? And not everyone out there has bad intentions, but oftentimes it's an attempt to try and squeeze as much productivity and work out of you as possible. And I know some of you out there are shaking your head saying, "Yeah, I know all about that." But you got to be careful because you do want to work hard, right? In the back of your mind, you're sitting there saying, "I want to get promoted. I want to transfer to logistics where there's a better pay rate and I like it more," right? You're not going to get it from being the laziest person on earth. So you're thinking, if I work hard, I'll be in line. I'm doing what it takes to get promoted and get what I want. And then it's the biggest injustice when it doesn't happen. And you see that the boss's nephew gets the job, right? Very frustrating. Or someone who is always conveniently around management, saying jokes to kind of stroke their ego and bumping elbows at the water, right? We all know those sort of people. And while you're too busy for that because you're locked in, you're working hard, right? You're grinding away while this person's playing games. But oftentimes that person gets the gig, right? It's very frustrating. And something I could suggest is if you're working hard and you're getting credit for it, and you say, "Okay, awesome. I'm working real hard. I like it. I like being here. I want to get promoted." Make it clear as day. I want to get promoted. So now it's top of mind for those who are responsible for promoting. And they're going to say something along the lines of, "Yeah, you're doing a great job, and definitely, yeah, keep you in mind. Like, you're doing great. Keep it up." Send a follow-up email so there's something in writing. Not, "Hey, you said you were going to promote me." Jump the gun on it. Say, "Hey, I appreciate our conversation today. You telling me I did a great job was very motivating, and I'm going to continue to work hard. When it comes to promotions, what are some other parameters to get promoted? And is it A, B, and C? Is it D, E, and F, right? What is it? That way there's something in writing proving that you are being considered for promotion at one point and that you are working hard. So when that comes up, you'll be top of mind and you have something in writing to point to. And that's going to segue into the third part, documentation. You want to have things documented so that you have something to point to, not just for promotions and whatnot, but for liability, for sure, but also for smaller things so that people can't take credit for your work and for your integrity. This is an $8 an hour job I'm talking about, guys. And I was working through the fall. I wasn't in school anymore. I just got bypassed for the promotion I felt like I deserved. And I've never taken a day off. I was racking up that money. I needed something to do. I needed money. So Christmas is coming. I went through Thanksgiving and Christmas is on the way and I'm scheduled to work Christmas. I'm not working Christmas. $8 an hour job, not going to be here forever. But I did take pride in myself and my work. So I went through with the policy of putting in for a request for time off. And how it would work is if I requested the time off and someone else would take it, we would swap hours basically. So I wouldn't get paid and this person would pick it up as extra money. Very simple. In the event that someone wouldn't fill in, the manager would have to fill in, even if it was their day off. They're on a big salary. That was part of their responsibility. He didn't want to work Christmas. And I told him, I said, well, I'm putting in for it. I don't know what to tell you. He had to sign off on it. That was the rule. Well, the holidays come and go. I had a great old time and showed up to work, did my thing early morning like always. And the manager comes in and something else you're going to learn along the way is body language. This person's body language, the manager, the GM. Let me segue back. There was a new GM at the time, right? This holiday season, my friend, the manager that was great to me, right? He left and started his own business, right? They brought in this guy who was really tough to deal with. He was known across the company as being devoid of personality, very shady, sketchy looking, not the best person to work with, but he ran a tight ship, I guess. But he was just truthfully unfriendly and really lacked management and motivation skills. So this guy comes in, the new manager, and I could read his body language. He was, not making good eye contact with me, and it wasn't as, direct or talkative with me. You could just pick up on these things, right? And a couple hours go by, and the regional manager comes in, the regional director. He says, I need to talk to you. Get over here. And I'm sitting there like, who is he to point at me like that? No one, right? He says, you did a no-call, no-show on Christmas, and you're either going to get fired or we're changing your hours. I said, all right, well, let's hear it. What are my hours? I went from opening Monday through Friday to closing 7 to 11 on Fridays. He knew I didn't want those hours. So I said, well, I didn't do a no-call, no-show. Asked the GM. I put in for it. He signed off on it. He calls the GM over. He still couldn't even really look me in the eye, but he did start to lie to my face and say, you didn't do it. I had this discussion with you. You're lying. We don't tolerate dishonesty here and all that. And I realized that the regional manager, looking back on it, had a decision to make. Was he going to side with, he didn't care who was right or wrong. He's probably getting a bonus based off how much money this gym makes. Is it going to impact his bonus by firing and getting rid of a minimum wage young guy like me? Or trying to find a brand new manager in the middle of what was now the New Year's resolution time where he needed someone there? I was the easy target. They got rid of me, or they tried to. But I was told to my face, I was gaslit, I was lied to, told to my face that I didn't do that, and I did. And I swear by it to this day. So I walked away. I was told I was relieved of duty that day and to think about my now closing weekend shift. So I went to work out. The regional manager walked up to me and said, you're actually not a member of this gym and you're not technically an employee right now. I need to sign you up for a gym membership right now and I'm not waiving the joining fee. So back then I had a little bit of an edge to me and I said, you know what? I just couldn't take it anymore. I said, I'm not doing this, all right? I'm not a member, you're right, and I'm also not an employee. You guys can have fun working this closing shift. You did it to me. And he couldn't believe it. He thought that I so desperately needed that job at all costs. And it was very liberating walking away. But the point of this is documenting. If I had a picture if I had a screenshot, didn't really email in 2011 for a little minimum wage job, but if I had something to prove that I did put in for that time off in an approved manner, that this wouldn't have been happening. Now, I don't know where things would have taken me then. I didn't really love that job, and it was, a temporary job. But the point I'm making is you got to document things, right? Back to point number one, don't limit yourself. You already have people around you trying to limit you, all right? People who are going for those promotions that you want, they're going to try to, deflect and kind of defer and get in your way, right? They're already trying to limit you, sometimes directly or indirectly. Sometimes there's circumstances that are limiting you. You can't, if the company moves to Oregon and you can't move there, I don't know what to tell you. That's out of your hands, and that's a limiting factor. So there's already enough things limiting you, right? So don't limit yourself. And to summarize all this, right, number one, don't limit yourself, like I just said, for obvious reasons. Number two, careful how hard you work, all right? I was the yes man. I got walked all over, and I got walked over so much, I got bypassed for an assistant manager position. And I was disappointed by that, all right? I'm sure some of you out there know how I feel. And then number three, document everything. All right, so those are my stories. I hope you guys found value in this. If you did, please hit that like button. And if you have any stories, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear them. I'm sure others would too. It might be therapeutic to get them off your chest. And if you enjoy this content, hit that subscribe button. And that's it. Want to cut it off here. Don't want to waste any more time. Appreciate you being here, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.